Happy Black Friday. I hope all of you are getting some extra sales today because it's literally one of the best days in the year for print on demand. And that's not just in terms of getting extra sales for t-shirts, but it's also in terms of print on demand tools having the highest discounts that you can get. And that's why I thought I'll make a video to help you out with maybe making a decision on which tools you might want to invest in, because I'm going to rank 13 different print on demand tools from worst to best. And I'm going to do this based on 4 different criteria. The first one being the tool's design, then we've got versatility, efficiency, and the price. For each one of these categories, the tools can get up to 5 points, or you could say 5 stars. And as a little bonus, I will also mention for each one of the tools which sort of experience level I think they are appropriate for, because not every tool is really necessary for a beginner. And I think this is going to be another good way for you to judge which tool might be best for you. And just for clarification, I can obviously only really rate tools which I've used before. So a lot of these tools are what I use on my day-to-day basis, but I have included a few which I've used in the past and stopped using. And even though I'm saying it's going from worst to best, I don't really think any of these tools are terrible. It's just my personal preference and opinion, and I think some of them are just better than others. Coming in first at the number 13 spot is Insight Factory. This is a research tool which focuses on Etsy, but they also have Redbubble and Merch by Amazon functionality. Now, this is definitely the tool that I've used the least, and I don't really have a lot of experience with, but when I did use it, I didn't really like it that much, hence why it's in the last place. And for the category of design, I would say that I didn't find it very intuitive and not that easy to get used to, which usually isn't really the case with research tools. They're usually fairly easy to use, but this one, the design just wasn't very clear to me, or it felt a bit outdated. So in this category, Insight Factory scores 2 out of 5 stars. Moving on to versatility, Insight Factory does have some interesting features for Etsy in terms of research, but for example, the Merch by Amazon tab is very, very limited. There's an interesting tool which lets you generate a description. You just have to enter a few keywords and it will write out an entire nice sentence. That's quite a unique sort of feature, which I found quite cool. But besides that, there's not really a multitude of different functionality with the tool. That's why it scores 3 out of 5 stars in this category. In terms of efficiency, it didn't really save me a lot of time because I was struggling to use it and therefore kind of got lost while trying to find trends or niches. So I'd give it 2.5 stars here. It could definitely save you time with doing some research on Etsy and potentially Redbubble. But overall, I think it does need quite a bit of effort and isn't really the most efficient in terms of research tools. And in terms of the price, the last category, it comes in at $20 per month. And there's not really much variation. You can also get an annual subscription, but it doesn't save you any money as far as I can tell. It's a fairly normal price for a research tool, about $20, but I don't think there's as much value for money because, as I said, the features are relatively limited. So in this category, Insight Factory scores 3 out of 5 stars for me. In terms of the experience level, I would say Insight Factory is great for beginners. Having a research tool is always a good idea, even if you're just starting out. And if we add up all the categories, that brings Insight Factory to 10.5 points in total, which brings it in at the 13th place. Next up, we've got Automate POD. This is a Chrome extension which you can use in conjunction with Photopea to create designs in bulk. And I have made a video telling you how to use this tool. One thing that I could definitely say about this is that the design is fairly basic. There's not much to it, and it is a bit wonky or not as easy to use sometimes, because if you accidentally click off the Chrome extension while you're using it, you have to start again from scratch. So it is a bit annoying and a bit fiddly sometimes, but overall in the design category, it gets 3 out of 5 stars. So versatility. One thing that's important in this category is having a unique selling point or a unique feature. And I do think that having this ability to scale out designs really quickly is really unique. Like, not many tools offer it out there in the print on demand space. However, that's also where it ends. Like, there's no multitude of different features. It literally just does this one thing and that's it. In this category, it scores 2.5 stars. And moving on to efficiency, this is the category where Automate POD really shines because it can save you an endless amount of time when it comes to creating designs. However, it's not perfect. It doesn't automatically scale your words if they bleed off the edge of the artboard. short, which means that you kind of need to create different Excel sheets for short and long words, which is a bit annoying and takes quite a bit of extra effort. So this is why in this category it scores 4 out of 5 stars. And looking at the price, Automate POD is priced at $30 per month, which is, I believe, the only option there is, which is okay, but once again it's quite expensive considering the fact that it only has one single feature and one single use, but it is fairly unique and definitely has a lot of value. So in this category it scores 3 out of 5 points. Looking at the experience level, I would recommend this to someone who's an intermediate seller. You definitely don't need this as a beginner, but if you're in your second year, for example, it's worth looking into creating scalable designs in bulk. And finally, summing up all of the different categories, we get a total amount of stars or points of 12.5 out of 20. And that means Automate POD comes in at the 12th place on my list. Moving on, we've got Merch Informer, which you've probably all heard of. It's one of the most well-known research tools when it comes to merch by Amazon. They've been around for ages, and I've also been using them for ages. So in terms of the design, what do I think of it? I do quite like the design. I don't think it's bad. However, compared to some of the newer research tools out there, I think it is lacking a little bit. For example, if we look at I think it's called the Merch Hunter, you get 3 t-shirts in a row and then a lot of information underneath each t-shirt, which sounds like not much of a big deal, but when you scroll down, you don't really get to see a lot of shirts very quickly, whereas in the other research tools, you often have like, I don't know, 6 to 8 or even 10 in one row, and there's very little information underneath each one of them, so you actually get a way better idea of what you're looking at, and it's way easier, in my opinion, to use and find trends or niches. So it's not a bad design. I quite like the interface, but it also has its flaws. So in my opinion, it gets 3 out of 5 stars in this category. When it comes to versatility, Merch Informer is doing pretty well in this category, in my opinion. They don't have anything besides Merch by Amazon research, like there's no Redbubble or Etsy functionality, but within Merch by Amazon research, they're doing really well. There's lots of different ways to do research. You don't have to just stick to one option. There's also a trademark tracker where you can enter lots of different words and it checks them for you on a daily basis in case they get trademarked. And there's also an entire tab designated to keyword research. So a lot of multitude of features here, which is definitely really handy, and scores Merch Informer 4 out of 5 stars. In the efficiency category, it is lacking a little bit though, because when I used to do my research with Merch Informer for the trending niches videos, just as an example, it did take me quite a while to find trends, and I don't really struggle with other research tools as much. So overall, I think it only gets 3 out of 5 stars in the efficiency category. The pricing of Merch Informer is very straightforward. There's 2 different plans. You can join the newbie version for just $10 a month, which is what I've been using for ages, and there's also a professional option for $20 per month, which gives you some extra features. I don't really know much about those extras, but I read that there's upload automation included in it. So if that is any good, then that's definitely a very good sort of value for money proposition, and that's why in this category Merch Informer scores 4.5 stars. And I do also think that this tool is definitely very beginner friendly because it's a research tool, everyone needs one, and it is also very cheaply priced. So for the experience level, this definitely falls in the beginner category. Adding up all of those points, we get to 14.5 out of 20, which makes Merch Informer our 11th place in today's tier list. Next up on my list is Adobe Photoshop, which is not really a print-on-demand tool in the traditional sense, but everyone needs a way to design their t-shirts, so it definitely belongs on this list in my opinion. The design of the tool is pretty nice in my opinion. It's a nice modern interface. There's even ways to completely customize it to your liking, to move the tools around and that sort of stuff, which is really unique. However, it also loses a point in the design category in my opinion because it has so many features that, especially if you're just starting out with it, it can be quite overwhelming and daunting, and it's not always very intuitive and self-explanatory how to use it. So in this category, it scores 4 out of 5 points. When it comes to versatility, Photoshop has got so many different ways to create designs, so there's a multitude of options to add effects, to customize, so it has got a lot of features. However, it is also quite limited in the sense that you cannot edit vectors with it, and that's why in this category it just gets 3.5 stars. In terms of efficiency, I think Photoshop is lacking a bit right here because there is definitely graphic design tools out there which let you create t-shirts quicker, at least from scratch. You can get templates and speed up the process with Photoshop, but if you're starting with the blank canvas, then it's not really the fastest, so it gets 3 stars in the efficiency category. Now, the price of Photoshop is actually really good. I think you get a lot of value for money. It's only £10 per month. I don't know if it's also $10 per month. However, I think that's a very, very reasonable price for the amount of features that the tool provides. So in the pricing category, Photoshop scores 4.5 points. Now, I wouldn't recommend this tool for a beginner because of its sort of overwhelming layout and massive amount of features. There is other options out there, and there's also Photopea, which is sort of a free scaled down version of Photoshop just in a web browser, so that's sort of better for a beginner. I think Photoshop is more ideal if you're an intermediate seller who wants to step up their designs a bit, or if you're just into graphic design and photo editing in general. Overall, Adobe Photoshop scores 15 points and it comes in at the 10th place on my list. Just ahead of Photoshop is Adobe Illustrator, which is my design tool of choice when it comes to t-shirts because there's so many different possibilities and you can actually create graphics yourself from scratch. So when it comes to the design of Illustrator, this is very similar to Photoshop in the sense that yes, it is a very, very nice looking layout and design and you can customize it as much as you want. However, there's also so many features that it can be overwhelming and not as easy to use as you might expect. So in the design category, Adobe Illustrator scores 4 stars. In terms of versatility, here is where Illustrator really shines because you can do so many things with it. You can even scale out designs in bulk and literally create like 100 designs in 10 minutes. And it can also, in that process, resize your text to fit the artboard, which is really, really handy. So Illustrator, tons of capabilities. You can create graphics from scratch and there's just so many different options of how to create designs. So it scores 4.5 points in this category. When it comes to efficiency, Adobe Illustrator, just like Photoshop, is not really the fastest tool out there. I think if you want custom designs at premium quality, you have to kind of accept the fact that it's not going to be really, really fast. And there is ways to create designs quicker, like the scalable designs, but overall, I think in this category, Adobe Illustrator deserves 3 out of 5 stars. So the price for Illustrator is usually £20 per month, or I think $20 per month, which is reasonable in my opinion. But at that point, it's also almost worth getting the Adobe Creative Cloud, which is currently on offer for £30 per month due to Black Friday. I don't know what the exact dollar amount is, but with the Creative Cloud, you then also get Photoshop, all of the other Adobe tools, and you also get their fonts and lots of other features on top of that. So that's what I'm signed up to. Illustrator for $20 on its own is worth it in my opinion and deserves 4 out of 5 stars in this category. Looking at the experience level, I think this is appropriate for intermediate sellers. Unless you're really passionate about graphic design, then you can probably get it right away and test it out. But beginners are definitely better off starting or trying out other design software first. And the total amount of points for Adobe Illustrator come to 15.5, and that makes it our 9th place today. Moving on from that, we've got Flying Upload KDP next. And in this case, I'm going to discuss the Flying Upload tools separately because you can subscribe to them separately and there is good reasons for doing so. And Flying Upload KDP, in case you didn't know, lets you upload your designs to Kindle Direct Publishing on autopilot. It's especially easy if you already use the print on demand tool because you can just transfer the data over. So in terms of the design, there is definitely a bit of a learning curve. At first, when I started using the tool, I really struggled the first few days to get used to all the features and how to actually set up your files. But once you get used to it, it is fine. The design is quite nice. However, because of that lack of intuitiveness, I would give the tool 3.5 stars. When it comes to versatility, there's not that many different features to the tool. It does one thing and it does it well, but if you want to do anything besides uploading to KDP, there's not really any options there. So in this category, it gets 3 out of 5 stars. Now, one massive benefit of this tool is its efficiency because it will save you endless amounts of time. If anyone's ever tried to upload to Kindle Direct Publishing manually, you know it's a really annoying process. So using this sort of upload automation to handle that for you is going to save you a lot of time and effort. So Flying Upload KDP deserves 5 stars in the efficiency category. The price of Flying Upload KDP is £20 per month, which I think is reasonable when you consider how much time the tool can save you. and how much income it can generate. But at the moment, Flying Upload is also running a Black Friday deal, which is 40% off, I believe, for just a few days this is live for. So check it out if you're interested in any of their tools. It will be linked in the description. But I think in this category, Flying Upload KDP deserves 4 stars. Moving on to the experience level, I would rate this as an expert level tool. If you're an average print-on-demand seller who focuses on t-shirt designs, then I think it would first make sense to invest in upload automation for print-on-demand websites, and then after that into KDP. Unless you want to really focus on KDP a lot more, then it makes sense to invest into this sort of tool earlier. However, if we add everything up, we come to 15.5 points for Flying Upload KDP, which means it is our 8th place in this tier list. Next up on my list is Flying Research, which is another really handy research tool out there. This tool has got a really nice interface. The design is definitely really neat. It's intuitive and easy to use. The sidebar is slightly overloaded with different options in my opinion, but besides that, great design. I give it 4.5 stars. The versatility of Flying Research is really great as well. There's tons of different ways to conduct research so that you can find the one that works best for you. There's also a trademark module to help you keep your business safe, and you can, for example, also analyze niches to make sure that they are low in competition. So all things considered, it scores 4 out of 5 stars in the versatility category. In terms of efficiency, it definitely speeds up your niche research process and is a lot better than doing research for free. So in my opinion, it deserves 4 out of 5 points here. When it comes to the price, it is usually priced at £20 per month, and with the trademark options on top of that, it's £30 per month, which is, once again, it's okay for a research tool, but it's on the higher end. So in this category, it scores 3.5 stars in my opinion. Flying Research also has a Black Friday deal on at the moment, so you can get 40% off until the 28th of November. So I don't really think you need this tool as a beginner, just because the price is quite a bit higher compared to other research tools. However, if you're an intermediate seller, it's definitely worth considering investing in something like Flying Research. And adding up all of the categories together, we get a total of 16 points, which means Flying Research is the 7th place. The next tool is one of the most well-known ones in the print-on-demand space. It is Pretty Merge, and this is a tool that I use pretty much every single day, and there's also a free Chrome extension for it, which everyone should really get because it makes the Merge by Amazon dashboard just look a million times better, and also make it way more usable and user-friendly. So Pretty Merge has got an extremely nice design. It looks really stunning, and it is also very intuitive and easy to use. Therefore, in the design category, it gets 5 stars. There's definitely some versatility to Pretty Merge. There is an Analyze tab where you can drill down into your sales data and find out how to optimize things, and there's also a product section where you can, well, manage your designs really well. You can filter by tons of different topics and also delete them in bulk if you need to delete listings, which can save a lot of time. There's also a research tab, which I personally haven't used, so I can't judge it. Overall, in terms of versatility, I'd give the tool 3.5 points. Now, efficiency wise, there's definitely a lot of time saving features here, which if you did not use Pretty Merge and you used the normal Merge by Amazon interface, you would spend literally like 10 times the amount of time. So it's definitely an efficient tool to use, really handy, and it scores 4 out of 5 stars in the efficiency category. Looking at the price, you can get Pretty Merge on a monthly basis for $20 per month. That's without the research, by the way. With research function, it's $30 per month, or you can save money on a yearly plan. I don't know what their Black Friday deal is, to be honest. Yeah, it's not a bad price, but in terms of value for money, I don't think it's that amazing. So overall, it scores 3.5 points in my opinion. Now, I would class this as an intermediate seller tool because you can just use the free version if you're in the lower tiers in Merge by Amazon and you're starting out. You don't need the paid for version, but if you're starting to get more sales and more used to things, then it's definitely worth investing into. So intermediate, experience level, and the total points come to 16 in total. So Pretty Merge makes the 6th place in my rankings list. And now we've worked our way up to the first graphics resource, which is Creative Fabrica. And I know Creative Fabrica is not a tool in a sense, because it's a website where you can download graphics, but it definitely is necessary for most print-on-demand sellers to invest in something like this. Creative Fabrica has got a really nice design. It's fairly easy to use and to find stuff on their site, and it's also quite intuitive. So I would give the website, not the tool, 4 points out of 5 in the design category. In terms of versatility, Creative Fabrica definitely stands out here. They've got tons of different graphics to download. There's also a load of fonts, which can be really handy to level up your t-shirt designs. And there's even a cool little tool that lets you create sort of shape clouds made up of words with just a few clicks of your mouse. So that's definitely really handy. Lots of different features with Creative Fabrica, so it scores 4.5 stars in this category. When we look at efficiency, however, I think Creative Fabrica lacks here a little bit because the platform is open for anyone to upload and sell their designs on. So sometimes the files that you download are not really that optimized for print on demand, and you do need to spend some extra time sort of making them ready for t-shirt designs, or you might not even really get the right download that you wanted and it's not the right size. So it's not the most efficient in a sense, but still it deserves 3 out of 5 stars here in my opinion. When it comes to the category of price, Creative Fabrica does so well here because they literally let you try their website for either $1 per month, or sometimes it's totally for free. And then even if you sign up to them, you also always get like really good deals offered to you. I, for example, signed up for a yearly subscription for $70, which is not even the best deal you can get. At the moment, for Black Friday, you can get a year for $50. So if you have signed up to Creative Fabrica before, just log onto the website and check the banner along the top. They often give you better discounts to keep you subscribed, and that makes them score 5 stars in the pricing category. And it also brings me on to my next point, which is that Creative Fabrica is really beginner friendly. It's very affordable and it's going to help you create better t-shirt designs with the abundance of graphics. So definitely check it out, even if you're just beginning with print on demand. If we add all of the points up, we get to 16.5, which makes it the first entry in the top 5 print on demand tools today. Next up on my list is My Designs, which really surprised me that it performed so well, because some of these other tools I use way more often or have used way more in the past, because My Designs is fairly new. It's only been around for a few months and they've only just fully launched. So very impressive, definitely. And for those of you who don't know My Designs, it basically helps you with many different things around print on demand. It helps you store your files online and organize them, create listings for them very quickly. You can create mock-ups very fast, and you can also then sell your designs on Etsy and more marketplaces to come in the future. So very cool tool, and also a very cool design. I think their interface is very modern and stylish, and it's not always as intuitive as you expect it to be, but that usually comes with having lots of different features and capabilities that it's not always 100% intuitive. So overall, great design, and it gets 4 out of 5 stars in the design category. Moving on to the versatility category, this is where My Designs really stands out because they have so many different options. You can even upload your own Photoshop mockups and then create mockups in bulk using My Designs with your own custom templates, which is really, really cool. That's just one of the innovative features. You can overlay textures onto your designs in bulk. You can upload 120 designs at once to your Etsy shop once you've created the listings. So there's so many possibilities, and I know about some of their plans in the future. There's going to be way more crazy creative ways of how to use the tool. So versatility, there's still room for more, but at the moment they already score 4.5 stars out of 5. Looking at efficiency, you can probably guess that this tool is going to save you a ton of time if it can create things in bulk that quickly or upload things in bulk that quickly. So many different time-saving features. So in this category, it scores 4.5 stars. But as you can probably guess, all of this innovation and all of this time saving does come at a price. So My Designs is usually $30 per month for the Pro plan, and then it also goes up to the Pro Plus subscription, which gives you a lot more features and storage space as well. But that is $100 per month if it's billed monthly, which is obviously quite expensive. The free version, to be fair, does go up to 2 GB, so it's definitely a lot of options for a free user, which is really good. But overall, for the pricing, I would rate My Designs 3.5 stars. I do want to mention though that they also have a Black Friday deal. You can lock in 30% off for life, which is definitely useful taking advantage of if you do like my designs. In terms of experience level, my opinion is sort of split here. I would rate this expert for most people who don't really focus on Etsy. Because then you can get along with the free version for sure. But if Etsy is really important to you, then it's definitely worth getting my designs, and it's more of an intermediate level tool in that case. Summing up all of the categories, my designs score 16.5 points as well, and that makes it today's 4th place. I know it's drawn with Creative Fabrica in terms of points, but I think overall I do prefer my designs for its innovative tools and features. Moving on, we've got Vexels next, which is another graphics website, and this one is quite different in the sense that Vexels has a professional team of designers, meaning that all of their graphics are held to a very high standard, and that definitely shows. Their website design is definitely really nice, it's really modern, it's really easy to navigate, which is always important. Even things like their mockup generator are really easy to use, and I do love them. So for the design category, Vexels scores 4.5 points. In the versatility category, Vexels definitely is very, very strong. So they've not only got an abundance of high quality graphics, but they've also got a mockup generator with amazing mockups. I literally just uploaded a video about this yesterday. Definitely check that out if you missed it. And there is a t-shirt maker. So if you don't have a graphic design tool, then Vexels also has you covered there. The t-shirt maker is really easy to use. And on top of that, one of their unique selling points, in my opinion, which is quite important for this category, is the design requests. So if you can't find a pre-made graphic on a certain topic that you were looking for, then you can just submit a request and one of their professional designers will create that for you. So amazing features that Vexels has got on offer, and in this category it scores 4.5 stars out of 5. Moving on to efficiency next, I do think Vexels can definitely save you a ton of time. It saves me a lot of time because I do like to grab some high quality graphics and then change them about a bit to customize them further. The mockup generator, really great. I wish it could create mockups in bulk though. That's the only sort of area where Vexels is lacking a bit. So overall, Vexels gets 4 points in the efficiency category. And now to talk about the price, I think this is what puts most people off Vexels because their service is a bit more expensive, and also their discounts usually only apply to the yearly and lifetime plans, but not to the monthly ones. So totally understandable. I think it's $30 per month, which is quite a lot to fork out just for graphics. And they do have a Black Friday deal at the moment where you can get a year's worth of subscription for $150 something, which is amazing, or a lifetime plan for $415, which is what I got 2 years ago, and I definitely don't regret it. It's definitely been worth it for me. So in this category, it scores 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think Vexels is more suited for an intermediate seller because you can more easily get graphics on Creative Fabrica for a lower price. Then when you sort of level up and you have some more budget to fund higher quality graphics, then it is definitely worth moving on to Vexels, in my opinion. And altogether, Vexels scores 16.5 points, which is once again a draw with the previous two tools, but in my personal opinion, Vexels ranks higher than them in the 3rd place in my tier list. And Milo's joined us because he's really excited to see who is at the top of this tier list. And basically the runner-up is Flying Upload. In my opinion, Flying Upload has made the biggest impact out of any tool on my print-on-demand business. You might be wondering why is it 2nd place then, but I will explain that through the categories. So it is upload automation. It lets you publish your designs to over 10 marketplaces automatically, which is really, really handy, saves a ton of time. And in terms of the design, it lacks a little bit here in my opinion because it has so many different features and it's a bit hard to get used to at the beginning, not always really intuitive. So I mean, obviously once you know how to use a tool, they're all easy to use, but it is definitely a big learning curve at the start and it's not always as easy to understand. So in my opinion, for the design, Flying Upload gets 3.5 stars. In terms of versatility though, this is where it is really amazing. I mean, so many different marketplaces, they all have different needs in terms of how to upload to, but still Flying Upload has you covered for so many different ones. There's lots of different ways to create and prepare your listings, lots of time-saving features, multiple ways to go about things. You can even import Excel sheets if you wanted to for scalable designs, but you don't have to. That's the good thing. You don't have to even know how to use spreadsheets, and you can still use Flying Upload. So 4.5 stars in the versatility category. When it comes to efficiency, I don't have to say much. It's going to save you thousands of hours, because uploading is one of the most tedious and time-consuming tasks when it comes to print on demand, and that many marketplaces, you can imagine it adds up really quickly. Just running Flying Upload for an entire day to multiple marketplaces saves you probably like 100 hours. So efficiency, it gets 5 stars, and deservedly so in my opinion. And then moving on to the price. Now Flying Upload is quite a bit more expensive. I don't actually know what the current price is. Let me check. So the upload tool is £50 per month, and if you take that annually, that means 550, but that is without my discount code. I think with my discount the annual comes down to £440, and on Black Friday they're currently offering 40% off. So if you ever wanted to invest in upload automation, the link will be in the description. It's never been this cheap. So pricing wise, yes, it is really expensive, but we also have to consider the value for money here, and the time saved and the income generated is massive. So in my opinion, it deserves 4 stars in the pricing category. Experience level, this is fairly straightforward. I mean, as a beginner, you don't really need it, especially not the full tool. You might want to try out the free version or like the bottom version for $10 a month if you're interested in automation, but besides that, it's only really worth it for intermediate sellers. Then the total points come to 17, which makes Flying Upload the second place on this tier list, and let's move on to the winner. And the first place goes to POD/CS, which is a research tool, and it has quickly become one of my favorite print-on-demand tools this year. So the design of the interface for POD/CS is my personal favorite out of all the research tools out there. It's very clear and modern, it's easy to understand, intuitive, and for me it makes it really easy to find trends and niches. So in the design category, I give POD/CS 5 stars. Now in terms of versatility, it's important that the tool has a multitude of features, which POD/CS definitely has. They've got tons of different ways for Merch by Amazon research and Redbubble research. I do like their analyze pages as well, which gives you a lot of extra insight into the best sellers or the trends. They also have Etsy features coming soon, which I'm really excited for. They could maybe add something like a competition checker. I think that's one thing I'm missing still, but overall there's a lot of versatility, and it gets 4 out of 5 stars. In terms of efficiency, this is really handy. It can save you a lot of time for your research. It doesn't have as much time-saving features as like an upload automation tool, which is understandable, but yeah, overall, once again in this category, it gets 4 out of 5 stars. And moving on to the price, this is where POD/CS is really ahead of its competition in my opinion, because they charge either $10 per month if you use my discount code, or $100 per year, which is pretty much the best offer you'll get in terms of research tools. And currently for the Black Friday deal, it's even better because you get 2 years for $99, which makes it something like $4 per month, which is mental. So pricing, value for money is amazing. It gets 5 stars in this category. And that's also one of the reasons why I would class this as a very beginner friendly tool, because it is so cheap. It's going to give you a lot of ways to find better niches and trends, so you can get your sales up, get out of the lower tiers, and all at such an affordable price. So definitely a beginner experience level tool. And the total points, if we add them up, come to 18, which makes it the first place at the top of our list for the best print-on-demand tools out there. So this video took me a long time to put together. There was a lot of planning involved and also a lot of editing that went into it. So if you're interested in any of these tools, I would highly appreciate it if you use the links in the description, because that will help me out a lot. I'm not affiliated with all of these tools, but I am with quite a few of them because I use them on a regular basis and really like them. So thanks very much for watching. Also comment down below what your favorite print-on-demand tool is. That would really interest me, and I hope this video helped you make a decision if you are going to invest in anything, and I will see you in the next video.